Hey there. Okay, so this is our grocery list planning video. And again, it's probably way more simple than what you may have thought it to be. So at this point in our journey, you've already got your grid. And if you don't have your grid posted yet, post it or shoot me a message. Maybe you want to shoot me a private message. Maybe you're embarrassed to post a comment on the page, and that's okay. But totally feel free. This was something new to me. It's new for everybody. Nobody's going to think silly of you if you're having trouble putting your grid together. Just comment. But even still, if you need to private message me, then do that. I would much rather see you successful and give you a little bit of extra help, and that way you're set up and ready to go and empowered to do this in the future. So you should have your grid put together with just a general idea of what kind of meals that you're going to have. And we're going to base our grocery list off of this. Now, I pretty much just will go through, and mine says for the breakfast meal, eggs and oatmeal, English muffins, and then that was the only two for my meals for breakfast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to think through eggs and oatmeal. Okay, do I have enough eggs to get me this many meals throughout the week? No. Okay, I'm going to put that on the list. Am I going to need twice as many eggs? Is there anything coming up that I'm going to need to bake for the kids, or are they going to ask for pancakes this week that I need a couple of extra eggs? And so I just think through that as I put an ingredient down, and that way if I want to put a ×2, then I'll do that. And the other piece of this is that some meals the kids will eat, like for breakfast, they'll eat the same thing as me. Some of those they're not going to. In our house, for some reason, breakfast is the hardest meal to find them something healthy to eat. They're definitely big carb people at breakfast time, and none of them like eggs. They said that it makes their stomach hurt, which is very legitimate, as it's one of the top trigger foods for food sensitivities. And then it's just not easy to find healthy breakfast meals without serving, really fatty meat. So a lot of times for them, we will get nitrite-free Canadian ham, and they eat little ham for breakfast for a little bit of protein. And then we do Ezekiel bread in our house, which I feel very confident about if we are not focusing on gluten-free. If we go gluten-free, then we typically do Udi's, whole grain, and then if we are not going gluten-free, or for the other kids that I don't feel like it's a problem with, then we will do Ezekiel bread, because that's completely sprouted. There's no flour in it whatsoever, and it has more protein in it. So I really like that, and they absolutely love the cinnamon raisins. So a lot of times we'll do that. Then they also really like protein pancakes or applesauce type pancakes and waffles, and anything that's made with a healthy mix, then I'll do that for them for breakfast. So they have usually a carb, and sometimes I can get them to eat a fruit at breakfast, and then whatever that protein is, either the ham sometimes, or the turkey sausage, or nitrate turkey bacon. So that's kind of the kids. And then myself, I focus more on, and they will eat oatmeal if I serve it. It's not their favorite, but they will eat that. But yeah, for us, breakfast is the hardest. So English muffins, they do also really like, and the Ezekiel ones, again, are amazing. So I've got on here, the other meal is English muffins, so I may put a little bit of spinach on that, and so I'll write down spinach. And I may do avocado on it, so I'll write down an avocado. Then apple and almonds is, for me, going to be the same every day. If you want to switch it up and have, your snack different, then you're just going to write that down. For your salad, if you're pulling from a recipe, then now's the time that you would go to that recipe, jot down how much of that ingredient that you need, and you'll want to look and make sure with the recipe that you're looking at how many it serves. Is this salad going to be something that is only for you for the week, or are you also going to be preparing a salad for your husband for the week? Are you a homeschool mom and maybe your kids are going to eat it, or are you making them a different lunch and packing that to go off to school? Same thing with it, like the eggs. Okay, your eggs are coming back into play. Maybe you didn't think about the eggs when you were writing in breakfast on your grocery list, and now you're like, oh yeah, okay, I'm going to be adding eggs to my salad some days. So go back. You may want to bump up the number of egg cartons that you get. Then I've got my Shakeology for that afternoon snack. And do I want to add anything to it? Am I going to add any spinach? Am I going to add any fruit? Am I going to add any almond milk? And any of those kind of things. PB2 maybe, peanut butter, almond butter, whatever sounds good, then you can add that there. And then last but not least, the bulk of your ingredients are going to come from your dinner meals. And so that you may have a recipe that you're pulling from. However, if you don't, kind of a good rule of thumb for me is that I'll go to the store and I'll pick out 2 proteins and I'll pick out about 4 vegetables, and then make sure that I've got some kind of whole grains on hand, whether it's quinoa or wild rice or brown rice, something of that nature. And that way, regardless of if I failed to come up with a couple of recipes, I know that I've got a couple of good healthy proteins, several vegetables to choose from, and then a couple of whole grains. So that should help you be good to go. For my meal plan, just so that you'll know, I had a fruit at the morning snack, and then I don't have another one written in. Typically what I will do is either have berries right after dinner with my meal, or I will put another fruit into my shake, and that way I've got 2 to 3 fruits on a day. And I think more than anything, in my experience, you just want to buy more vegetables than what you think you're going to need. Most people don't buy enough vegetables, and they're not loading their plate up with enough vegetables. So if that's the case, if you find that that's you, then go ahead and buy freezer, or the frozen. And if you fear that they're going to go bad, buy a couple extra bags of whatever's on sale in the frozen section, and that will help you. You will, since I'm talking about frozen foods, don't buy the stuff, like Green Giant has like the broccoli that has like the cheesy sauce. Stay away from any of the sauces. You're just getting organic frozen vegetables that's in a bag, and that will help you be good to go. And if you will do this for me, steam them like on the stove. You can get one of those steamer baskets at the grocery or Target or Walmart for hardly anything, like under $5. Get one of those, because the microwave is going to nuke and destroy the nutrients in your food. So the more that you can get away from using the microwave, the better, and the more nutrients that your food is going to hold on to as you consume it. So shop the perimeter of your store. Try and buy things without labels, because that would be produce for the most part. If you are going to buy something in the center of your store, please read the label. You need to be able to pronounce all of the ingredients, and look for short ingredient lists. If you start seeing ingredients that it's like longer and longer and longer, run away from that item. And then you may want to consider thinking about each segment of the store as being its own separate store. You've got the dairy, and then you've got the produce section. Think of that as your farmer's market, and then you go to the meat market, and so on. If you are buying canned beans are something that are, canned goods in general can be something that is very positive for you to buy. Try to, if you're going to do vegetables, to get frozen versus canned, but things like tomatoes and things, beans are good to buy frozen. To buy canned. But you will maybe want to rinse those off if you're buying beans. Honestly, beans are so inexpensive and easy to make that are just dried, that I would recommend buying them dried, and then you can always freeze them after you cook them too. So anyway, hope that has been helpful. Next task for you is to make your grocery list for next week, and then post a picture of it here in the comments below. Have a good night.